A house. It's supposed to be the ultimate boring asset. You buy it. You live in it. You measure your kid's height on the doorframe until they move out. But in 2002, Wall Street looked at your childhood bedroom and saw a $200,000 roulette chip. They didn't care about the roof. They didn't care about the yard. They cared about the action. This is the story of how the world's biggest banks turned the American dream into a rigged game of craps, and why when the house went bust, you were the one stuck with the tab. For 50 years, banking was a snooze fest. You went to your local branch. You met a guy named Mr. Henderson. He knew your name. He knew your job. He knew if you were a deadbeat. If he gave you a loan, he kept it in his vault. If you didn't pay, he lost money. Safe, predictable, slow. But on Wall Street, slow is a dirty word. The big investment banks looked at millions of boring mortgages and saw a mountain of gold. They didn't want to wait 30 years for your monthly check. They wanted the money now. Enter the quants, the math nerds who realized you could turn debt into magic. They asked, what if a mortgage wasn't a loan? What if it was a product? Here was the hustle. Take 5,000 mortgages, toss them into a financial blender, pour that mortgage smoothie into a box, and call it a mortgage-backed security. Sounds fancy, right? It was a shell game. The bank sells the box to a pension fund in Norway. Bank gets paid today. The family in Ohio is someone else's problem tomorrow. Wait, does this guy even have a job? Doesn't matter, Dave. Sign the paper, sell the chip. Next. By 2005, the casino was running out of players. Everyone with a decent credit score already owned a house, so the dealers got desperate. They called it subprime. Translation: loans for people who had no business borrowing a nickel. They called them ninja loans. No income, no job, no assets, no problem. But I only make 20 grand a year. I can't afford a $4,000 payment. Don't worry about it. Prices only go up. In 2 years, we'll just flip it. It's free money, baby. Sign here. It wasn't free money. It was a time bomb with a teaser rate fuse. Even the smartest guys knew these loans were radioactive garbage. So how did they sell them to grandma's retirement fund? They bought the referees. The rating agencies, Moody's and S&P, were supposed to be the cops, but the banks were the ones paying their salary. If you don't call this trash safe, I'll take my business to the guys across the street. Did I say trash? I meant AAA, safe as U.S. Treasury bonds. My mistake. It was like a health inspector giving a 5-star rating to a kitchen full of rats because the chef bought him a Rolex. 2007. The fuse hit the bomb. The teaser rates expired. That waitress in Florida, her payment doubled overnight. She called the bank. No answer. Why? Because the bank had already sold her soul to a hedge fund in London who sliced it up and sold it to a dentist in Tokyo. The chips weren't worth anything anymore. The global economy didn't just trip. It took a swan dive into a concrete pool. Trillions vanished. Not Wall Street money. Your 401k, your parents' house, your neighbor's job. The casino was on fire, and all the exits were locked from the outside. Here's the part that'll make your blood boil. When you lose your shirt at the blackjack table, the bouncer kicks you into the alley. But when these gamblers lost, they called the White House. "We're too big to fail," they screamed. "If we go down, the world ends." So the government wrote a check. With your money, the banks stayed open. The CEOs kept their bonuses. Not a single high-level executive went to prison. The stats: 6 million families lost their homes. The banks, they just got a fresh stack of chips and a get-out-of-jail-free card. They tell you the market is a science. They use words like liquidity and macroeconomics to make you feel stupid. Don't fall for it. It's a game. It's always been a game. And in the casino Wall Street built, the house doesn't just win, it makes you pay for its losses. Next time a broker tells you something is guaranteed, look around the table, because if you can't spot the mark, it's you.